Here at the French Throwdown in LDLC Arena. I'm Chase Ingham with Lucy Campbell, and Lauren Smith will be joining us shortly on the floor. Day started out well for the Frenchman, Victor Hoffer, who was 42 points out of a qualifying spot. Left for dead after 3 events, however, with his dramatic finish in event number 4, he has erased a 42-point deficit and now sits just 2 points out of a qualifying position here to start event number 5. As you can see, Victor Hoffer -4, Mickey Smith just behind him, and Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson sitting in 10th place, holding on to that 10th and final spot. And this is what we have: 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Squat snatches at 185 all the way up to 275. Those time checks are on the board, but we're not going to need them this year. Maybe in 2016. Lucy, what is your go-ruck step to success?
Same as the women, respect the ladder. For these top athletes, it's not about the first bars, it's about how you get to the last bar.
Lane assignments for heat number 3. Reseated after heat for event number 4. Your top 2 in the middle, Victor Hoffer and Mickey Smith out of Ireland. Mickey Smith, just 4 points out of a qualifying spot. It's been a while since he's been back to the games, but here we are in what we thought was he was retired, on the cusp of qualifying again.
Yeah, exactly, and in that retirement, he's gone to High Rocks and a few more of those kind of running events, so it'll be really interesting to see how he fares on these heavier bars.
And then Moritz Fiebig, sitting in lane number 3. Now he's 37 points out of qualifying, but these next 2 events shake up very well for him. And more on Moritz, let's go down to Lauren Smith.
Cheers, Chase. Yeah, exactly that. We know that his max snatch is one of the biggest in this field at 298 pounds. That's 135 kilograms. His coaches have said that whilst 15th is a little bit of a worry, these last 2 workouts are so good for him that they can rest a little bit easier. But in this field, no one's for certain.
In the last 2 heats, we've had the record broken set by Matt Fraser twice. Can it happen a 3rd time? Win a CrossFit tour visiting CrossFit gyms around the globe. Create an account or scan the QR code or visit hustlup-app.com to enter. That's all it takes. The drawing will take place June 20th, 2024 as these 10 athletes take the floor. I'd like to welcome Craig Ritchie to the booth. Craig, you've been snatching for fun lately, but have you been snatching for time? Have you tried this event before?
No. I actually saw this workout come out and I did want to try it. But then a part of me didn't want to try it because I know these guys would be 5 workouts into the weekend, and although my max snatch is 146, I didn't want to be embarrassed by how fit they are and how fit I currently am not.
Well, seeing just to that point, what you've seen so far, the first 2 heats, and how far we've come since 2016, just for you being as a casual fan on the outside looking in, seeing the progress we've had in the last 8 years.
It's honestly incredible. Like, when you used to look at some snatches, people snatching 100 kilos would be impressive, you know, and now everyone in the field is looking at a 120 minimum snatch and upwards to 130, which it's precedent to the technique that they use and the volume that they're putting in. If you look back 8 years, I would tell you there wasn't much of the field that was snatching 120, 130.
And, you know, doing not only snatching 120, but doing that under fatigue. As you said, they're 4 events in already by this point, and they will be, what, 28 reps in by the time they hit that 120 barbell. So it's not just a 1 rep max at 120, 130. It's about doing that under fatigue in the comp.
Oh, sorry. I think what's incredible here is that what people think of a snatch, they think of it as a pull. It's actually a push off the floor. It's a drive with the legs. And they've done so much squatting. They've done so much bike work. Those quads are going to be fried. So when they get to that final bar, that's where the quads are going to be twitching, but them to be able to snatch it is incredible.
All 10 athletes into the round of 8 snatches, 205 on the bar. Jonakoski is one of 2 male athletes in the field that actually did this event back in 2016. As the official footwear and apparel partner of CrossFit in the CrossFit Games, GoRec wants to give your gym a chance to win the official shoe of CrossFit. Head over to goruck.eu/CrossFit and enter to win for the chance to get 50 free pairs of Rough Runners for you and your affiliate. 225 on the bar. 6 reps at this weight. As you can see in lane number 2, Kalen Clements is trying to hold off Moritz Fiebig, who's just to the right of him in the black shirt. Jan Briand, center lane, no shirt, gray short. Victor Hoffer on the right side of your screen.
He is moving that very nicely.
Victor Hoffer erased a 42-point deficit. He was well outside the cut line to get that 10th and final spot to the CrossFit Games. We still have another event to go. However, he's just 2 points out. Jonakoski on the right has not had the weekend he's wanted to have, but he is making a move here in this 5th event.
I actually spoke to Yona yesterday. He just said there's nothing really that's been the bother. He just hasn't been able to find the 6th gear. And maybe this last day he'll find it. He needs to.
1 rep left to go for Victor Hoffer on the right. Tough start, and even not a decent middle, but 100 points goes a long way here at semifinals as Hoffer and Fiebig make their way to the 245-pound bar.
Here we go. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Let's see how they do in these last 2 bars.
Fiebig 1 rep in. Black shirt, gray shorts. Victor Hoffer's looking really smooth right now.
I want you guys to look at the build of these 2 different athletes. Victor Hoffer, super slim, moving really well. Moritz, a much bigger athlete. It's like, you don't get that in the weightlifting world, but you get that in the CrossFit world.
Fiebig with 2 reps. Victor Hoffer with 2 as well. Fiebig will hit 3. Hoffer just behind him.
Oh, this is tight.
The time to beat, 5:25, set by Bronislav Alenkowicz. In the previous heat, Bronislav was done with his 4 reps at 4:27. Fiebig is going to advance to the 265, and here comes Hoffer.
And the interesting thing is these 2 guys are side by side. So it's not like, you know, you see the stagger in the bars. Sometimes it's a benefit to be the person that is slightly behind, but these 2 guys are directly level with each other.
5:25.94, Bronislav Alenkowicz. The best time in 2016 was Matt Fraser at 6:05. Craig, as you said, we've come a long way in the last 8 years.
Yeah, this is the part now, though, where they've got to the bar, they've both put the weights on at the same time. It's about understanding your body and how you're feeling. Not sending it too early, making each rep count.
Hands on the bar at the same time. Hoffer will miss it backwards, and Fiebig will get it. Now, as far as confidence, missing forward, backwards, some would say at least backwards, you know you almost had it.
Yeah, especially with weightlifting, you know if you don't have the pull.
Fiebig will be done right at 5:50. So Fiebig, who's 37 points out, trying to pull a Victor Hoffer and close that gap in 1 event. Kalen Clements, 1 rep left to go. Hoffer missed his first attempt. Hoffer trying to use the crowd. Clements has already got his hands on the bar, and he's going to squeeze in.
Solid rep, that.
Victor Hoffer nails it. Now he had to take a very, very long break between that missed rep and this one. Lucy, how do you manage the panic nerves that come into play when you're so close to the finish line?
I think this is the thing. He'll hopefully go into this next rep with the confidence that at least he can do it. You know, to have multiple missed reps, there's always that question. And there we go.
This crowd, I'm telling you, when you're down there amongst the French people, it is wild.
Craig, I mean, you've been a part of these. You've been to semifinals in different locations around Europe, but this one itself, as Jonakoski just misses his last rep, it's deafening in here in this arena.
Yeah, it's a little different. You know, when you go to American semifinals and other ones, you'll have athletes that you follow. Here, it's country pride as well. And when the countries turn up, they are loud for their athletes.
The French started singing their national anthem earlier, out of nowhere. Completely unprompted.
Americans do the wave. The French just wave the anthem around the arena. Jonakoski nails it.
Yes.
Jonakoski will finish in this heat. Not the time to beat Koski. That's good enough for 11th. Enrico Zanoni, 1 rep left to go.
This last bar, like you were saying, if you miss it behind, you know you have the pull. In weightlifting, if you feel like you don't have the pull off the ground, that's the scary part. That's when you're like, I don't know if I've got this. And he got this.
Zanoni is done.
Oh.
Guillaume Briand, 1 second behind him. Alex Catulus will miss.
8 minutes on the clock.
And this is big for Mickey Smith. He's still on that bar. He's yet to hit his first rep. In fairness, he's not failed it yet, but he's not attempted it. And in the context of where he's sitting, he's 4 points out of 10. This is going to be big in terms of that result going into the last event.
Mickey Smith out of Ireland as Catulus misses, setting up for 265. Is 4 points out of that 10th spot.
Nice.
With 1 more heat to go. He'll hit the first rep.
That was a nice rep.
That was a good rep, yeah.
He knows his own pace here. He's not pushing it. He knows he's just got to finish and not miss.
Alex Catulus on the right side of your screen. Not known for his strength, but he's doing the best he can here on the final barbell. Mickey Smith setting up. We're approaching the 9-minute mark. Times are flying by from previous heats, though.
Yes. That was almost too solid. In that circumstance, I'm like, could you have gone maybe 5-10 seconds earlier?
What's that cat and mouse game almost with yourself of when to go and when not to go?
100%. You want to be on the edge.
Catulus is in.
Especially when you're in a position like Mickey is, where it is that kind of touch and go of making it.
Fernando Pardillos.
See that right there? That pull looks heavy. That for me, I'm like, I don't know if he's got that.
But a lot of that too comes into the training because when you get to those heavier weights, it's gonna feel heavy, but having that trust that if you can get it to that hip crease, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, weightlifting especially is being able to lock everything. Lock your lats in, lock your legs in, engage. It's not just pulling the bar, it's understanding that you want to keep that bar close. The further the bar gets away from the body, the heavier it's gonna get. And especially in that pull, if you let it come away, you're not hitting it, especially at this weight.
60 seconds remaining on the time cap. Fernando smiling at the crowd. This might be a BR for him. He was pumped after hitting 245. Can he hit 265? Ooh, it's close.
I think he knows.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Live to find another event as if we still have 1 more event to go. As Fernando Pardillos, who is the 40th, the last man in out of quarterfinals here. And he was very close to a qualifying position after the 4th event. That'll end heat number 3. And the tension builds even more as Moritz Fiebig has put your top 10 on notice, as that is a time that is going to stand and possibly inch him even closer to that 10th and final spot to the games.
So we saw Hoffer lead the way through the first 3 bars, looking so controlled, every rep looking the same, but then accelerating to the next bar with Fiebig at the same time, that real battle through the heavier bars. But then coming on to the last bar, we saw a few misses from Hoffer, which then opened the way for Moritz to hit the last 2 bars and come away with the fastest time of the heat.
Fastest